Hi everyone, and welcome to Rising Stories. I'm Corrine Sandifer. Today we have a treat. Today is my Christmas Conversation podcast. I hope that you will enjoy it. I've asked 3 friends to come on and chat with me about Christmas, all things Christmas. We talk about everything from stockings to trees to pajamas to pies, and we just have a great time. You'll recognize some of the names. For example, Julie Presley was on episode 2. So if you want to hear more, go back and listen to episode 2. Tracy Utley was on my Mother's Day episode, which was episode 4. And then I have one of my great friends, dearest friends, Maria Vargason. She'll be on and you'll just love her. We actually ended up losing her at the very end with a bad connection, but she shares a whole lot anyway, so you're going to enjoy listening to that. Also, make sure that you're following me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, because on Instagram I do a lot of stories, and you'll also get a glimpse of what's coming up each week on the podcast. And if you need some information that maybe someone mentioned on the podcast, just go to CorrineSandifer.com under Rising Stories Podcast, and you'll get all the information on the show notes for each show. So, without further ado, here's my conversation with these lovely ladies, and I hope that it will bless you. Hi, ladies. Welcome to my Christmas podcast.
Hi, Corrine.
Hello.
Hey. So on here we have Tracy Utley, who was on episode 4, and we have Julie Presley, who's an author, and she was on episode 2, and my friend Maria Vargason, who hasn't been on an episode, and she was the first one in line, and we are ready and set to go to chat about Christmas. So 4 moms. I would love for you guys to tell us about yourself, and we're going to start with Maria. So tell me, Maria, about yourself. Like, are you married? You have kids?
I am married, and I have 3 kids. I have 2 boys and a girl. My older 2, boy and girl, are in high school at Stratford High School, and my youngest son is at Lytton, and we used to homeschool, but now everyone's in public school, and I'm free as a bird.
Nice. And you're married. How long have you been married to Brett?
Oh, gosh, 22 years.
Oh, my gosh. We're getting old.
Yes.
And Julie, tell me about you. Julie Presley. Some of y'all already know her.
Hello. Thanks for having me back. Yes, I am married. Rocky and I have been married for coming up on 13 years. We have 2 boys. Salem is 12 and Josiah is 8. And we also have 2 fur babies. We have Trey, our corgi, who is almost 9. Actually, he is 9. And then we have a 5-month-old golden named Daisy.
Aww. Is it like having a baby?
Oh my gosh. Yes, except worse. I don't know if it's worse, but she chews and destroys everything, and she sleeps pretty good. She's crate trained and loves her crate, but yeah, she's a lot of work, but she is sweet and very cute.
And Tracy Utley, who was on episode 2, tell me about yourself, Tracy.
Well, so I am a wife, and I'm married to Michael Utley. And we have 4 boys, ages 17, 15, 13, and 10. And my kids, I have a senior in high school who's getting ready to graduate in May. And then another in high school, one in middle school, and one still in elementary school.
Okay.
My kids, my high schoolers go to Stratford with Maria's kids. They've known those kids their whole lives, and my middle schooler is at the same middle school as her middle schooler, Isaac Lytton. And then my elementary is still being homeschooled.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. Yeah, I forgot that you had one at home still. I forget about little George.
Yeah.
Who's still at home. Yeah.
So, we all forget about George.
Oh, because he's the last one. He's the caboose. And you have dogs. So if people hear
I
your
do have
dogs.
dogs, which I hope you don't hear them in this episode.
Yeah.
I have a 5-year-old Labradoodle named Kipling, and then I have a 4-year-old Schnauzer Jack Russell named Meg.
I like Meg.
They're just
Yeah.
rascals.
So, yeah. So for those of you who don't know me, I have two kids. I have an older daughter who's 23, and she just recently got married in July. And then I have a 15-year-old, almost 16, who is doesn't have his driver's license or his permit, nor has he made an appointment to go and do any of that. But that's okay. And so,
Yes.
and I've been married to Michael for 26 plus years. We're, I think next year will be 27. Yeah.
Great.
So,
Wow, congratulations.
thanks. That's a long time.
Long
It's a long
time.
time.
It sure is.
It's a long time. So, most of us are in Tennessee, and then Julie, you're in Texas.
Texas. Yep.
Yeah. So, what is
Yes.
the weather cold there? It is cold, right?
It's cold today.
Yeah.
It might be summertime tomorrow.
Yeah.
We had that this weekend. We had football on Saturday, and it was freezing. We had a lady show up to football with a heater that was powered by a little propane tank. It was that cold.
Wow.
And then the next day, it was 75 degrees. So
Yeah, you just never know. Yeah.
You never
It's
know.
kind of the same here, only once we kind of hit winter, it kind of stays, but then all of a sudden we'll have some random couple of days of really nice fall weather, I think. Sometimes in December and sometimes in January, but then after that it's full speed ahead with winter. But I brought you guys on because I wanted to talk about Christmas, like traditions and food and gifts and what we, do you do stockings? Do you do, we won't talk about Santa because there might be some little ears, but Christmas morning and wrapping presents and all that fun stuff. So what are some traditions, Julie, that you do with your kids? Because you've got your oldest, you said is 12. So you're still in that youngy stage. And what kind of traditions do y'all do?
the one that they talk about the most is that every Christmas Eve, we all get pajamas. So we all get to open our pajamas together. It was funny. I was driving with my 8-year-old the other day, and he said, every Christmas Eve for my whole life, I remember all of them, you've gotten us pajamas. And I was like, really? You remember all of them? So tell me about Christmas 2009. And he would have been about 8 months old. And he said, 2009. Let me think. You got us pajamas.
That's funny. We do that too. Do y'all do that, Maria? Do you do pajamas on Christmas Eve?
Corrine, you know my husband. He would never.
No,
never,
he wouldn't do
ever.
pajamas.
We wouldn't do pajamas.
No,
No.
that's true. And Tracy,
Yeah.
do y'all do
Yes.
pajamas? You do pajamas?
Oh, we're so full on. But you know what? I started when the boys were little doing matchers. And like matching, and then we have transitioned into just new pajamas.
New pajamas, yeah.
So they don't match. And I will say, one of my children, who will remain nameless, Maria knows who it is. He will, what's the word? He will humor me for about 30 minutes, and then he will take them off. And he will go back to his regularly scheduled...
His striped shirt.
Oh, gosh.
Striped shirt. So...
Because he just doesn't like... He doesn't like new pajamas. He likes his old pajamas.
Why reinvent the wheel? If you have perfectly fine pajamas, why do you need a holiday to get new ones?
Oh, gosh.
So I'm trying to figure out if this is a tradition that I'm just going to, like, every year, come hell or high water, we're getting new pajamas.
Yeah. I see those families that have, like, they just
grandchildren.
The grandchildren, everybody. And I'm thinking that can get really expensive if you have a big family. Because when you start adding wives and children and all that, that's a lot of pajamas.
Yeah, no, ours don't match.
Yeah.
But what's fun this year is, well, I think it's kind of weird that my 12-year-old wants a onesie, but they want onesies because
Yeah.
they've got those big, like full-on
adult.
footy. Yeah,
Yeah.
they have them for adults too, and like Superman capes and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So both my boys are getting onesie pajamas, and I'm like,
Well, a word to the wise, because we did footy pajamas one year and it backfired because my son's pajamas were about a size too small.
oh yeah,
And he insisted on wearing them, and they were not flattering. It was like, okay, it's time for you to take those pajamas off. He would die if he heard this, but yeah, it was time for him to take those off. But yeah, those footy pajamas are cute. They have adult sizes and girl sizes. Everybody. Those are really cool. What traditions have y'all like done and you're like, no more, we're tossing that out? Anybody? For me, I don't know. What, Julie, did you have something?
no, I said I can't think of anything.
Can't think of anything that you've tossed out.
I have one.
Okay.
And this is just because I'm forgetful. It's for no other reason, but I used to buy the boys ornaments every year so that when we would get together and as a family put the Christmas tree up, they would be able to get a new ornament that the idea was they would then take to their home at some point.
Right.
And I have dropped the ball on that. I'm probably like 3 years past. And so what I would try to do is if we were at a special, like when we lived in Maryland, we would go to Hershey, Pennsylvania once a year, like around Christmas. And so like one year I got them like a little Hershey ornament for the tree so that they would remember that that's what we did significant that year. But I am just flat out forgetful. In fact, this may segue into new traditions, but I've even stopped decorating. Like my dear 13-year-old and 10-year-old have for the last 3 years been the sole decorators of
your house.
Delightful dwelling. And if you come to our house, you may or may not be able to tell that
it's Christmas decorations
at the hands of a 10-year-old boy and a 13-year-old boy. And so
do they put up the tree? Do y'all do trees?
Oh, yeah, they put up the trees. They put the lights on, but this year they put the ornaments on first and then forgot the lights.
Oh no!
So then they added the lights and they just kind of wrapped it around really tightly and turned it on, and like half of the lights work and half don't.
Oh no!
I'm not motivated enough to do anything about it, so I think I'm just going to leave them and hope that when my family comes and this weekend that they'll just think it's hilarious and adorable.
The kids decorated the tree.
My Pinterest board lives.
Oh gosh. So is that your new tradition that you're going to be letting them decorate?
Oh, you know what? Harry said, "Mom, this is so depressing. Please don't make us do it again." And I said, "I'm not going to make you," but they're so impatient that they brought up all of the ornaments and they just had it done before I could even like turn around. So kudos to them for being such self-starters.
Yeah. And when do you decorate? And do you have a real tree or a fake tree? A real tree do you decorate a real tree?
Fake. It's a metallic green tree. Like there is no wondering if my tree is fake. It is metallic. And
I'm going to have a picture of that.
Yeah, we decorate typically the weekend after Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Maria? When do you decorate? I see your tree. People can't see, but I see your tree.
It just depends. I mean, I think we used to be more on the ball when the kids were little, and now it's gotten to where I procrastinate, and then finally my daughter just gives in and she does it all herself.
Y'all are fun. That's great.
I just came home. I came home one night last week, and the tree was up and decorated, and there she was.
Wow, yeah. She did it all herself?
She did it all herself.
Wow. Well, it looks great. Yeah, you'll have to send me a picture of it too. It looks great. What about you, Julie? Do y'all have do y'all go out and chop down a new tree every year? And
We used to when the kids were little. And then we decided that it wasn't worth the effort. We were like, we're going to make memories. And instead, we're cold and the kids are crying and we've got sap all over us. So I managed to get a fake tree at Target one year for like a ridiculous discount after Christmas. So I have a really pretty fake tree. And I am all about decorating it ASAP. See, Thanksgiving is over in Canada in October, and I'm from Canada, so I'm like, all bets are off. My husband is like, slow your roll. He is not about celebrating anything Christmas before American Thanksgiving, but I'm always trying to kind of eke it in a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, we decorate the day after, either Thanksgiving night or the day after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we usually decorate. I tried to beat the crowd and get, we have this one place that we go to that has trees that are real trees that are less expensive, and but if you get there early enough, like before Thanksgiving or around Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving weekend, you get the best pick. You get the nicer ones. But if you wait any longer, it's pretty slim pickings, and they look like Charlie Brown trees. But this year we ended up, this is the latest I've decorated ever. Mostly, and I probably wouldn't be decorating so crazily, and fast this weekend but I usually have a big party, Christmas party, so that kind of makes me have to decorate, sort of. So, but we usually get a real tree, and one of our traditions is we make the people that we get the tree from slice a small little sliver off of the tree, of the bark of the trunk, and we keep that every year. And we've only done it like the last 5 years, so we've got 5 little things. So that's kind of a fun tradition we do. And we do ornament traditions wherever we go to a new, like a vacation, I'll go and look at a Christmas shop and buy something from that place, and Washington, D.C. or wherever we go. So that's a new tradition. I don't know about traditions that I've tossed out. That's a hard question. Yeah, I don't know. But what about gifts? Do y'all do a limit on gifts? Like, I know some people only do like 3 gifts and stocking stuffers. Do y'all have a limit?
We should. We don't.
You don't?
No, my husband heard that whole thing a couple years ago. Something they need, something they read, something they want, something they wear. And I was like, that's a great idea.
And he didn't say anything.
It's like, I've already bought half of their presents, and now you're throwing this at me. So I just try to keep it sensible, and I feel like I've done a lot better this year. And my kids they've outgrown toys, so it's really hard to shop for them. So I think I did okay this year, but I try to, each kid may not get the same amount of presents, but I'm going to spend the same amount of money on them, and I try to keep it as balanced as possible. And we don't go crazy, but we have a good day.
Yeah. What about you, Maria?
We usually just get the kids, it's like maybe one thing. My mother goes so overboard that it's ridiculous. So she's always been that way, and we've always just kind of had to restrain ourselves because you wouldn't be able to, get in the room. It's that bad.
Really?
So,
like, does she do quantity? Like, or does she do like really good stuff and just a bunch? She just goes overboard?
She's just a really generous person. When they were little, it was just a lot of toys and whatnot. And just as they've gotten older, now it's money. And, they get quite a bit. So, they don't want for anything. And we've just always had the mindset that, they don't really want for anything all year long. So we try to just focus on, non-present type things, you know.
Mm-hmm. I like giving things like that don't clutter, but like zoo passes and things like that. I used to ask my parents for stuff like that every Christmas, and they weren't too thrilled. I think, grandparents love to see kids opening up presents,
Right,
So,
exactly.
but at the same time, you're like, oh gosh, how many more stuffed animals do they need? Or,
Right, right.
And I try to steer them like, what about this? This is a gift that keeps on giving all year long because we'll go to the zoo or we'll go to the museum every month or every other week. So, what about you, Tracy?
Yeah, Christmas is really simple. I have kind of gone in the direction of just 3 gifts per child. We have one living grandparent, and so he'll do, something that will give him the emotion that he wants to see, without going overboard. But it's very restrained and simple. And like I will ask, what can I get you for Christmas? And the boys will send me in a direction that I would have never gone. So they're pretty specific.
Yeah. Well, what when you guys in the morning, like on Christmas morning, where do y'all open up, just like tear into them? Are y'all like one of those like, everybody's gonna tear into their presents, or do y'all do it one by one, like one present per person, and then go around again? And we have a small family, so we've kind of do the whole, it's your turn. Someone plays, quote, Santa and delivers the presents, and then from the tree, and then we do that. So do y'all just tear and open them up, or Julie, do y'all
we do kind of the same thing as you, where one person gets to open at a time, somebody passes out the gifts, and then we get to, for me, I want to see everybody open their gifts because I do the majority of the shopping. So I want to enjoy, like that's the gift for me, is watching them react to whatever they've gotten. So we take our time with it. And when I was a kid, my mom had to have her coffee and everybody had to eat breakfast before we got into presents. And so we'd be up at 7 waiting. And then like maybe at 10, we'd start opening presents. So
that's a long time.
It's a long time. Wow. Yeah. So we don't make our kids wait that long. I do have to have coffee, but that takes 5 minutes to make. So yeah.
Maria, what does it look like on Christmas morning at your house?
Well, I think we do open maybe one on Christmas Eve, and then they open the rest on Christmas morning. My sister and I have a tradition that I go to her house on Christmas, like around 10 or 11. When I was growing up, my parents were divorced, so we spent a lot of time being shuffled between the families. And once I got into college and my sister was married and on the verge of, beginning her family, having children, we just sat down and decided that we would have a tradition that we would start now, which was back then, being together with just us. Because, see, we used to spend our Christmas with the extended family, cousins, aunts and uncles, all the whole family. But we could see, in the future that probably wasn't going to be realistic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we just started a tradition of our own. By Christmas morning, even in college, I would go to her house for breakfast. And now that I have my own kids, we don't really get there by breakfast time, but we get there around 10, 11 o'clock, and we spend the day at her house. And so that's kind of what that looks like for us.
That's neat. And do your kids look forward to that?
Yeah, she started a tradition a few years back of we have a gingerbread house making contest.
Oh, fun.
And so her son is an engineer. So each of her kids partner with one of my kids, and then she'll partner with one of my other kids, and then they have a contest, and it's fun. It's very competitive too.
So they each get their own gingerbread house and to decorate?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Yeah.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah. It is. It's fun.
Yeah. What about you, Tracy? What does it look like at your house on Christmas morning?
Well, I have some big kids and I have some little kids, so it's kind of hard because the big kids just kind of want to sleep.
Yeah.
And the little kids, I mean, when I say little, I'm saying my 10-year-old and my 13-year-old, they're usually up early.
Mm-hmm.
So, and my husband is not an early morning person. So, usually what happens, we'll have the little guys come jump in bed with us and try to get everybody roused. And, usually we're up, by 7, and I will pop breakfast in the oven while we open gifts. And, I like to say that it's civilized and quiet, and it usually, but then, someone will just kind of keep going. And, but, I'm like Julie. I like to see the response everyone gets when they see it, and it's interesting now that they're older and they kind of know it, or they anticipate that they know what they're getting because they have to send me a list because I don't know what a lot of the stuff is.
Yeah.
It's more. I see more of a gratitude as opposed to surprise.
Yeah.
Which is, just an adult version of Christmas. And that's definitely the transition that my household is making right now, is we're, my kids are getting older, and so it's not so much about surprise as it is about gratitude. But I'm excited because I think one of my kids is going to be, he has no idea. He's in for a big surprise this year. And
wow.
But we'll have to.
I can't wait.
Do a follow-up.
Yeah. So you'll have to do a follow-up. Yeah. That's fun. So at my house, we do everybody watches each other opening up each gift. And of course, this year's going to be different because we have Sean, which is my new son-in-law. And so there'll be a little bit more people around to pass out gifts and stuff. And he has a stocking. So we're doing it all out, and he'll get PJs. He doesn't know, but hopefully he's not listening to this on Thursday. He'll be like,
"Is he getting a onesie?"
Yeah, he's gonna get a onesie one size too small. No. So we, so we don't do Christmas dinner per se. Yeah, no, we don't. Yeah, we don't do Christmas dinner. We used to do an evening thing with some friends where we would go eat Chinese on Christmas Day. So that was kind of fun, aka like the what was it called, the Christmas Story. We would do that. But this for the last probably 10 years, it kind of got to where it was just the four of us, and after we opened up presents and they played with the things after a while, I mean, it's just, it didn't take very long, and we were just sort of bored, and we didn't, we're not kind of just laying around kind of people. So we decided to do, we were like, we want to go see a movie, so let's just go. So the movie theater was open. And I'm going to get letters about, you shouldn't be supporting those people who have to work and they have families, but they're open. And so we would go to see a movie. So we've had that tradition, except on days when, like this year, it lands on a Sunday. So I'm not sure what we're going to do as far as church goes, but typically we, I make a big breakfast. That's our tradition. I make biscuits and gravy and pancakes and sausage and hash browns and what else?
I'm coming to your house.
I know.
Come
I was
on over.
Going to see that.
I'm trying to think of what else we have for breakfast. Muffins and just everything that we can. My family doesn't like they don't like casseroles, so everything is, the biscuits and gravy are probably the closest casserole thing. And then we hang around, and then we've already picked, by now, or we've got it down to where we usually pick out our movie like the week before. And so I'll go and we'll go and get tickets because his caught on. When we first started our tradition, there were probably 4 people in the theater. And now, tons of people are at the movie theater. Mm-hmm. So to get the movie that you want to see without it selling out, and usually the movie productions have caught on too because they're releasing a whole lot more on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
So so we've done that, and so I don't really make a big dinner. Do y'all make big dinners, like Christmas dinner? Well, Tracy, you said you have 20 people coming to your house.
Well, that's this weekend. So my family is coming this weekend. My father and his wife, and then all of Michael's family. Mm-hmm. His parents are deceased, but his brothers and his brother and sisters and their children. Well, some of their children are coming, and then so there'll be a little over 20 of us.
Wow.
But that's going to be this weekend, and it's going to be a non-traditional meal. I do cook on Christmas morning and Christmas night, and that really stemmed from when we lived in Maryland and we didn't travel on Christmas. I mean, sometimes we did. Honestly, I can't even remember, but I just it's a time for me that my family my husband especially likes to cook, and so and eat, and so I typically do cook, but it's not the same meal. It's a few of the same sides that my kids like, but I'm not really bound to the traditional,
that's good.
Thanksgiving, Christmas.
Christmas, yeah.
Menu, yeah.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Maria?
We will eat. It'll be dinner, but we'll eat it at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It'll be pretty traditional. But
what's traditional for you guys? Do you make turkey or ham or both?
We'll have probably both.
Mm-hmm.
Back when we used to do the whole extended family, we would have a ham and a turkey, and they would be picked clean.
Wow.
But now we have lots of leftovers. But yeah, just, mashed potatoes, green beans. I always make the mashed potatoes. My nephews would disown me as their aunt if I didn't make mashed potatoes. But yeah, fudge pie. It's very Southern. But
fudge pie. I'll come over to your place or to your sister's.
I've never had fudge pie. I need to know what this is.
Are you serious?
I've never even heard of it. I don't think.
You haven't lived.
So good.
That.
I love fudge pie.
Is it, to describe it, Maria, is it just there's another name for it, isn't it? Isn't there? Is it like chess pie?
No.
Okay, well, tell you.
No.
Maybe I don't know what fudge pie is either. Tell me.
Well, fudge pie is just a pie that has the consistency, on the top, it's almost like a little bit of a chewy brownie, but it's very gooey in the middle, gooey, fudgy goodness.
No, I have never had that.
Michael's favorite pie.
Is it?
Yeah, and I've tried to make it, and I can't. It's yeah.
Order your pies now from the Vargason home. From Maria. Oh, gosh. Yeah, Maria, you need to start selling some pies for Christmas.
Well, I love making them, and I love eating them. My kids would be very upset if we didn't have fudge pie.
That sounds delicious. I'm trying to think if there's anything that we have that... I think just biscuits. Oh, for a while... Oh, I know what our tradition food is like. We always have Chex Mix that... my stepmom used to always send it to us, and now that she doesn't, I just buy the bag, but they don't care. I mean, it's kind of the same, but not exactly. But because homemade's better. But they just like having that around. That's like Christmas to us. That's the only time we usually get Chex Mix. So, what about you, Julie? Is there something that y'all always have?
We always will decorate sugar cookies or gingerbread cookies. And then as far as a meal goes, it is not Christmas dinner without green bean casserole and stuffing. So, yeah.
That does sound good. Yeah.
Yeah. I make the Pioneer Woman's stuffing recipe. It's really easy. It's a lot of work, but it's really easy and it's delicious.
Does it have bacon in it?
No, I think she has another one that does have bacon in it. I use her classic. I think
Is
it's
it cornbread? Cornbread or regular?
It's cornbread. Yeah.
Cornbread. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I make a Martha Stewart. Well, for Thanksgiving, I make a Martha Stewart stuffing. That's a cornbread stuffing, and it has bacon and leeks and pecans, and it's out of this world. I missed it this year because we weren't home for Thanksgiving, so I didn't make it. Which I may have to make it. I may have to just decide somewhere between our break time. Maybe New Year's I'll do a turkey and the trimmings. Whatever. I don't know. I'm just going to make my own traditions. So stockings, everybody makes stock. Do y'all have stockings? Maria, I would think that y'all do not have stockings. Do y'all have stockings?
We do have stockings, but we don't have a place to hang them because our old house had a fireplace, but this one doesn't. So there's not really anywhere to hang them.
Mm-hmm. Put them on your piano. So, do you still have your piano?
Well,
your big upright?
We do have, but usually the piano is covered with nutcrackers. I don't know if you've ever seen the plethora of nutcrackers that we have.
Yes, we had, because our daughters, so my daughter and Maria's daughter have both, at different times because they're different ages, but have gone through a program where they have performed in a ballet. It's like the mini Nutcracker, and it's a big famous thing here in town. And so my daughter danced in it, and Maria's daughter has danced in it. It's a big tradition for Nashville. And so every year I would buy my daughter a new Nutcracker to commemorate, whatever part she had. Like they had nutcrackers for every part, the baker, the, dewdrop, and what are some other ones? The mouse and the candy canes. And so I too have a huge collection of nutcrackers, but I decided like 2 years ago, I am not pulling those nutcrackers out anymore. I'm like, that is just too much. And my daughter's like, Mom, what happened to the nutcracker collection? I was like, it's in the garage. It's like, I just
give it to her.
I know.
Let the nutcrackers go live with her.
I think I'm going to do that. Here you go.
Yeah, box them up.
That could be her Christmas present.
That's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
Merry Christmas. Here are your nutcrackers.
She hears a truck backing up.
Knock yourself out putting them somewhere to find a ledge to put them on. Oh goodness, yeah. I was like, it freed me. It was so freeing to not have to pull those out. But they are kind of magical. What's the number one movie that everybody watches in your house?
Well, mine and my husband's is Love Actually. Our children are absolutely not allowed to watch that movie.
I need to watch that. I don't know if I've seen that all the way through.
It's so good. And then as a family on Thanksgiving night, we start watching the Harry Potter movies, and then we finish by Christmas.
Oh, really?
That's so good.
I didn't think about that. So that's just like a marathon that y'all sit down and watch
every
them.
weekend. Yeah, every weekend we watch at least 2 or 1.5.
Okay. That's good. Maria, what about you?
Just any old movie?
Yeah, what movie do y'all absolutely watch? Like, we've got to watch this movie every year. Is it It's a Wonderful Life, or do y'all watch a movie every year? A Christmas movie? Maybe I lost her. Maybe she's gone. Oh, I can't hear her. Well, for me, I'd love to watch It's a Wonderful Life, and I have finally gotten smart, and of course I have a smart TV, so now I'm able to program and catch it and watch it anytime I want. Because we don't have a VCR, I mean a DVD player now anymore. So anyway, but that's one of the ones that we watch. Maria, are you back with us? No, I guess not. Tracy, what about you?
Well, we watch, we have the DVD of Christmas Story,
Oh, yeah.
and we watch that, and It's a Wonderful Life. Harry loves It's a Wonderful Life.
Of
It's his
course.
favorite. Maybe Maria will get a new phone for Christmas.
There you go. Maria, you need to ask for a new phone. Yeah, so I asked for ancestry.com or DNA, the DNA thing, and so I'm getting it. But like I'm kind of like I don't know if I should get that for anybody else in my family. I'm wondering if I should get it for Michael, and then our kids would know on either side what they have. Wouldn't that be
if
cool?
you guys get it, then none of your siblings need to get it either.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't have any, but Michael would, so none of his siblings would have to do it because they're saying, so it's not like, so if you had it so your brother would be identical, or would he not have something a little bit more percentage wise than, or am I thinking?
I would think it would be identical.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think that I don't think that count would change.
Okay. So it's just per family. So so siblings are alike. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Tracy, what are you getting? Do you make a list? Like you asked your kids to make a list?
For me?
Yeah, for you.
No, I do not make a list. It's funny, going back to the stockings, that would probably be my boys' favorite gift because they get like candy and like lots of fun stuff. And they know what I love. They know that I love Aveda shampoo. I mean, I'm such a like pedestrian female. Like I love gift cards and I love Aveda. And this year Michael and I may take a hiatus from getting one another gifts because I think we're going to move into some real estate and invest in doing something at our house, building something.
Cool.
And so it's kind of taking precedence over everything else. So no, I don't do lists. Sometimes I will go out and buy a gift for myself and have it wrapped and let Michael give it to me for Christmas. And that's worked beautifully.
That does work beautifully.
Specific. Yeah. Our first Christmas was so awful that I think we just vowed that from here on out, he was not going to try to read my mind. He wanted to know what I wanted. And so sometimes it looks different every year. And this year it's just going to be a little bit simpler for the two of us, in hopes of doing something that will be a bigger investment in our family.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, that's good that you vowed to do that because it's like there's so many expectations. Like, he should know what I want, but a lot of times they don't. So, and I started making a list of things, little things and big things and just things around the house. Like I would love 2 rocking chairs for my front porch, things like that, And so they'll, I can't remember if I posted it somewhere, but I will, put it somewhere where they know where it is and they'll kind of look at it and, maybe get 1 or 2, 2 little ones or whatever. And like phone case or things like that. But anyway, what about you, Julie? What are you getting?
Well, I make a list. In the last few years, probably in the last 5 or 6 years, our livelihood has increased. We actually have the opportunity to buy each other gifts, whereas when our kids were really little, we saw a lot of hard times. So the first year that I made a list for Rocky for my husband, I thought he would just pick a couple things and get me a couple things. I just got him a couple things.
Right.
And no, he got every single thing on my list.
Aww.
It's like, oh my gosh. So now I'm very careful. And every year I still say, I don't expect you to get me all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And he usually does. And I said, this year I said it again. And he's like, well, if you end up getting everything on your list, you just need to be quiet about it.
Aww.
Okay, so I'm still careful, but the one thing that I really want, we just moved into a new house this summer back from Austin to Fort Worth, and I have an office for the first time, and I want a chair, I have a desk chair, but I want a comfortable chair to write in my office, and so I asked for money for that because I still want to pick it out.
You want to get it, yeah.
I want to pick it out, yeah, because I have some back problems, so it needs to be a certain kind of chair, and I've got to test it out first to make sure I can sit there for a while. So,
you bring up a really good thing. Just the other day, I was like, you know what would be a great store? Somebody needs to open it up. I would if I was into that, but there needs to be a store that just caters to women office supply, office stuff.
Yeah. Ooh,
don't you think?
I like that idea. Yeah.
Like nice chairs, not like those big office chairs that have the huge high back and they're too big and they're ugly, and like it needs to be like patterns and pretty colors. And
yeah, that's a great idea.
somebody needs to open up a store. Maybe I'll have to write a letter to Staples or somebody or IKEA. But I was just thinking about that the other day. I was like, because there's not a place to really go when you want to, I'm in the process of moving things around and trying to get a home office and a home studio and redecorate that. And there's just not anything out there. So anyway, you never know. So, well, thanks so much for coming on. I know we were hoping we were going to get into some crazy party and,
the second reel.
Yeah.
You need to do the acoustic, unplugged version.
The uncensored version.
The happy hour
If you're
version.
interested in the uncensored version, go to the show notes. Tracy will write a blog post about it.
There you go.
Well, thanks so much. We ended up losing Maria to her. She's going to get a new iPhone, we hope.
That's right. Brett, are you listening?
Yeah, somebody needs to send this to Brett and say, listen to the very end. She needs an iPhone. So, well, thanks so much. And we will hopefully have a wonderful Merry Christmas to both of you.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
Yes. Happy New Year.
That was such a fun conversation, and I'd like to thank Julie and Tracy and Maria for coming on the show. And if you want to know more about some of the things that we talked about, then make sure you go to the show notes at CorrineSandifer.com. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, and make sure that you have subscribed to the podcast. Hit subscribe, because that way it goes right into your inbox and you won't miss an episode. And we're going to do some fun things. I have some great guests coming up in 2017 that you don't want to miss. So thanks again for listening, and keep rising in your own story.